everyone, welcome back to another video from Winter Forest. Today we are going to do a coding test. It actually is uncomplicated for me. It is a React form validation. They send through the hack ranking and it follow the TDD. It is very simple test, but I just found the tests quite useful, especially when you're under the time limit. You're going to hack something, you probably won't be performed very well, like under this time limitation. First, we go back and see what the original code they send to you. And so once you go into the hack ranking, when you log into this test question, you will receive a React. They have the test code is written. So what they are looking, they are actually looking for you to fill up a form. So they expect when you render the app, they have a div over there and have the error message, means the form is invalid. So it means in the app, in the form, we have a message in here. And then another test, they're looking for in a components of form will be mounted with the input is 4. So we're going to have a 4 input. What kind of 4 inputted? So you go into here, you find it. So you have a name, email, phone, URL, and the button. They will make a change, simulate a change, and then have the target value and send you a value. Actually, for me, I won't really like these test cases. But when you go into hack ranking test, you definitely need to make a the test case pass instead of change your test cases. And the reason I don't like it because when you similar change, I definitely could have found this value. The target normally have some other information like a line, so I don't need a band field value. So I could target if the line is this line, I just updated the value. So just let's start it. So the task expect me to do have a 4 input in the form. If I go in here, and they have a list over there, so we expect to have a 4 input, like a name, email, phone, and a block. So I'm going to have an input just in here. He pick up the value by a class name, so you definitely need a class name, then the class name over there. And this is just a text they pick up. And normally you design a phone have an ID for the accessibility reason. And on change, the reason I don't like they pick up only send the value, didn't send me the name. Because if they have send me name, then I could have this on handle change. I could define the on handle change just in here. In here, I actually use other function, so I don't need to do this dot band this or either band in here. So you actually, if he at the moment are supposed to receive the E and the target, and in normally, so we actually need a name for field and the email, URL. What is the other field? We open the app test in here. We need a name, email, also the phone. So if I have this one give to me and target, in normal case, I just do like this one, this dot set state, and I'm going to find the target. You're definitely going to pick up the name, and you give it to the value. I just distract the name and the value from the target. You do real coding, just do like this one. But for this application, this test, you're going to fail. The reason going to fail, the test cases only send you the value. So this one won't going to be updated, still will be empty. The name didn't send it to me. So what I did an extra band by a name. And so in here, instead just bind the function, actually tell them this one is changed for the name. So in here, it will up to this name. And then you have the value. The value will be updated equal to this state dot name. And we copy paste over there 2 and 3 and 4. And how many fields in here? So we have a name, and here also test the email, and also test the URL and the phone. And for the email, we're going to update the email, and the value will be email. This is the URL. This is the phone, and this is phone. If you finish up to here, now we supposed to pass a few tests. We just run the test. The setup in here is before you run test, it's going to pre-install. I get this totally empty, so it's going to pre-install this char and enzyme is for the unit test required, and the React also for this render phone required. It's going to have some fail, some pass tests. Just see. Name is not defined. Apparent with a crash. Name is undefined. Email name, email class name, and the components form. Oh, sorry, here I'm supposed to do like this one. Then you could pick up the name from here, pick the value from the target. Let me do it again. And the second time it will be fast since the library already installed. For our case, I'm going to stop this. Since it's already installed, so I'm going to stop this, keep running. And all of it still crash. Let me see what I'm missing. Still the name is undefined. Look like I used a name directly, but it is undefined, NAME. in 920 already used. In 920, he say name is undefined word. In handle change, I have a name. Then this state set the name. If here don't destruct issues using the tablet. What his name is undefined character. And 20. Accept a parameter. And I say this dot set accept object only update name with the value, but his name is undefined shouldn't. And so let me do npm run start. It means this page totally crash. npm start also going to install the package first. Actually, already installed. So the page, the action is crash, and unexpected of name. Unexpected name. The action is in the phone for some reason. 20 and 23. In my local run, I only need to install one side, so I'm going to stop this one. So it actually in here 20 on handle change. On handle change equal to name. Oh, sorry. And this is my mistake. So that actually expect an on change and take a function, and this function executes pass the name inside to this function. So now you see here, if I put this one to the arrow, and then it means this one is a function. This function is executed first, then we are passed to the second function. Now, if you go here, and this is what they're going to see in the UI. We actually don't care about the UI, we only care about the unit test. So I'm going to stop the here. Now, if you run npm test, we definitely going to pass some test. And the reason I say this test is very bad, because you see, I haven't do any validation for the number, email, URL, and the phone. It already said this is passed. So it actually is no. I didn't do any validation for this one. Why it going to pass? Because, and he check if you have the is phone validate, but did you see my phone? I don't have this. Is phone validate. So if you expect false, all of this one, I don't need any validation, it's going to be passed. So it means this 1, 2, 3, 4 going to definitely pass if I don't write any validation, because I haven't, because it's phone valid doesn't exist. So it's definitely going to call this one, it's definitely going to be false. That is why this pass. Now we're going to finish this, make these two pass first, then we're going to fix this validation issue. And what he said, this one, he actually expect when you mount the app.js, expect to find a div have a message, have this phone is incomplete. So if you go into the app, we actually have a phone and also message. He expects this message by default have phone incomplete. So we just go into here. At the moment the H is empty, so we just push the test over there. It's going to make this one pass. Did you see? I didn't do any validation, but it's going to pass all of it. So I could, if the person only check the pass, that definitely is no good unit test. But we're going to do it right. And now we're going to check entire phone when the phone is valid. So if I go into the app.js, did you see my phone actually didn't accept parameter over there. The test cases, why we just open why the test cases still fail? Because he actually the failed test is, we just copy paste, go to the test cases, unit test, after the test. I didn't find. Action is the check entire phone validation when the phone is valid. So in this case, the passed me have the name have value, and email has at and a dot, and the phone number is at least 10 digit, and this URL validation is true. And in here, they expect you have the phone supposed to have this. His phone is invalid, but our phone haven't accepted everything in here. I'm going to just write something in here, and its value equal to value. Okay, what I missed. From read this text, you going to know this is spy. This spy is actually expected is a function to code with true, to be true. So expect this one code with a valid value true and to be true, code with true. And now it's going to and this kind of value, maybe it's going to, let me see if I add this one, what the test going to fail, which kind of test. It still only fail this one. Then why this one will be return false instead of return true? Because I didn't use it inside the phone. I didn't call this one. I expect that this phone has a property will be passed in, but inside my phone actually didn't call this one. So basically still do nothing. Now we just do it properly. He actually expect when you click on submitted. Did you see? When you submit clicked, he expect this one be called sometimes true, sometimes false. So it means when this on validate click, this button click, he actually expect me to call valid. So I just put something in here, and this on click. So I'm going to do here on this click, I'm going to I use the add function, so I don't need to write a band. He actually expect in here when this is are going to return, he expect a return value. and we accept the property is called is valid form. Is form valid. Either is true or false. And how do I know this is true or false? It is when this one start a call, and I could decide it is true or false. So if I let this one constraint is valid equal to true, and this one will be pass, and then the rest will be fair, that is expected. You see, so this four test to be fair. This four test to be fair, it is correct because I haven't done anything for phone validation, email validation, URL validation, and when the entire phone is invalid. So they are supposed is fair. Now it is correct. So on here, when you finish it, I'm going to start validate. But actually, so I just copy paste to help method. One is validate phone, one is for URL validate. In here, I actually could change. When this on change, I could just direct validate these flags. If they are true, then either one of them false, then return validate is false. If they are true, all of they true, then this is going to be true. So I actually just rather switch in here. I could do a validation in here. And in here, I'm going to have a line. So case email, then break, case phone, then break, case URL, for field, so case name, default do not say, direct, just break. For the email, that's I just for the online method, you just validate this one. If this is and true, we're going to just update these flags. Is email valid? Actually, just use validate email. So this will return update these flags. The phone number, we just do a length check. First, I make sure not equal to undefined, and also make sure it is not null, and also make sure this is a string and length equal to 10. And why? Because I just found the phone validation, if the only thing he made it pass because the length is in here. That is why I said that the validation is quite not very good. If I just say start with non-A, it also makes this validation pass. And I just make sure this is a length 10-digit number. Normally, it's supposed to have a 10-digit number for a phone number. So I just make it length is 10. If it's all satisfied, then it updates this is phone validated flag to true or false. And here we just use the help method to update is valid URL. Is URL valid? We're going to use this help method. This actually I just searched the Google online, find this validation URL. So you could validate this value if this is valid. And the last for the name, I think just required is enough. So we just set the value is name valid. We just update, make sure it has value and value of the length is greater than 0. And this suppose is object. Since this on the change already validated, so when making sure it is valid, it means every these 4 flag all true, then it means they are valid. It's valid email and phone valid and so name, URL, phone, email. So if all of them is valid, then suppose pass. Now this I did a real unit test for the phone, email, URL. Now after I did this one, it's supposed to pass this 4 test. So if I run npm test, fail. Okay. So check the entire phone is valid. How can be fail? Okay. See, even for this one, first pass, now it look like he said something to be false. Value that the name is equal to 10. If I go into just console log, and we just see and the state. This dot state will be log this kind of value. Let me see if I instead of test everybody, we just do this one dot only. So which one didn't be updated correctly? Target. So if I run test again, email is not defined. Look like something's no. Yes, in here, it actually is validated value. Now suppose pass. Yeah, now it pass. You see, everybody is true, and this is the validated value. Now we could get rid of this only, and we suppose pass everybody, and I also don't need this log. Yeah, everybody is pass. And thank you for watching. Hope you found this helpful. Bye.